Let's take a look at some of the stuff you've been doing. So you've been pretty busy since we last talked. Let's start with Hispanic Heritage Month. That was from September 15th to October 15th and kind of spread out through the rest of October. You acknowledge the hard work of members of the Latino community in your district through awards and some other events. Can you tell me about some of the things you were up to?
Yeah, absolutely. I have loved being back in the district, and this is like really the fun stuff that I get to do to connect with our community and to really recognize outstanding leaders in our community. I have been very engaged in empowering the Latino community, whether it's the business community, education, the special needs community throughout my career. And so my first term, being able to recognize 30 outstanding Latinos from our community was a huge honor. And the 38th Assembly District includes Santa Clarita and Simi Valley, so there was a mixture there. So I'll kind of go over some of the amazing people that we recognize in Santa Clarita, from Santa Clarita. One of the first people that we recognized was Mary Welch, who's a nurse in the NICU at Henry Mayo, who uses her bilingual skills to comfort and gently communicate with parents whose preterm babies are in need of care. I'm not a new mama anymore. My daughter's 4, but it's really scary in the beginning, and to have a preemie or a baby that has any complications is just so heartbreaking. So having someone that's bilingual and able to kind of talk you through your child's medical needs is really comforting for those people who don't speak English or are just not as comfortable with English. So it was really cool to give her the recognition. Fun fact is I didn't realize that when we got there to Henry Mayo to give Mary this recognition, she's actually my cousin through through marriage. I know her last name was as Mary Valladares, but her married name is Mary Welch. So it was kind of funny, and that actually kind of became a recurring theme when I was giving awards out over the last 30 days. So, and somebody else that we recognize was Hart High School counselor Christina Noriega, who faced serious challenges in high school. She was a migrant student and an English language learner, and despite her challenges growing up, she worked hard and studied hard and earned her BA in psychology from Stanford University, and now has come full circle to helping others and ESL students at Hart Heights School overcome those same challenges. And she mentors and helps a lot of students who don't necessarily have those mentors or have language barriers at home apply for college. And when I was giving her award, the Hart High School class that is responsible for all of their videography was there, and they were recording it so they could make an announcement about it. And my cousin walks up to me, because he's in high school there, he's a senior, to say, "Hey, thanks for giving our counselor Noriega this award." So another opportunity to meet family all over the valley while I was recognizing people. And then we also honored NASA JPL engineer Jose Soto, LA County Fire Captain Luis Cervantes as well. And we actually have all of these posted on social media too. So take a look at my social media on Instagram or Facebook, and you'll be able to see the other people we recognize this Hispanic Heritage Month.
Yeah, you did a lot of work this past month. You also honored 2 Santa Clarita deputies as outstanding Hispanics in law enforcement, which was one of the events that I attended. For that award in particular, what made you decide to bestow that award on 30 different deputies or law enforcement officers? Because it wasn't just LA County Sheriff, it was also CHP, it was also police officers from other departments.
Yeah, you know what? Our first responders, including law enforcement, have been through a lot the past 2 years. Their jobs are just high stress in normal years, right? But the past 2 years, it's been even heightened, as they're trying to keep our streets safe and our highways safe, as they're trying to prevent crime and investigate and arrest crimes. While also being, working with the public and being at risk of getting COVID. I know a lot of my friends and family who are in law enforcement have had COVID this year. It's been a really hard year on top of, some of this unfortunate, I think disrespect that our law enforcement officers, men and women, have felt over the past couple of years, it was important for me to recognize law enforcement, and particularly our law enforcement officers that are of color as well. They are really, I think, they deserve the recognition, and I truly think, are helping to bridge, some of the anxiety and tension that some of our communities feel with law enforcement. So it was important for me to recognize them.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that explanation, Suzette. If you are just joining us, we are here with Assemblywoman Suzette Martinez Valladares, who's telling us about what she's been working on over the past several weeks here in Assembly District 38. All right, Suzette, while the legislative session may be over, that doesn't mean that you've stopped working. I've seen you around town attending openings and groundbreakings. Can you tell me about some of the highlights?
Yeah, what I also was able to do this month, and it may be a little TMI, but I'm going to talk about it anyways, is I was able to visit the Sheila Velos Breast Cancer imaging center that we have here at Henry Mayo in Newhall. And I got my first mammogram because I am of age now, and I, documented that. And I didn't document it. I talked about it, right? Documenting it would be very different. I talked about it because it's important that women start to get screening at 40 years old. And early detection is key to saving lives, and to see and recognize the work that the Sheila Velos Breast Cancer Center has been doing during Breast Cancer Awareness Month was really important, because women need to know that to go get your mammograms. It's not October anymore, it's November, but you can still go get your mammograms any day of the year, not just in October. So that was really fun. Just this past Monday, I also attended the groundbreaking for Family Promise. And this was a project that Family Promise of Santa Clarita, in partnership with the City of Los Angeles, with the County of LA County, as well as Williams Home, are going to be building a center for homeless families in the Santa Clarita Valley. And this is just so vital and important. Before I came to the State Assembly, I ran a nonprofit preschool center in Sylmar area, and a lot of our kids came from broken homes, domestic violence, and quite a few of them were homeless. And these homeless kids, while they were with us, we did our best to make them feel like while they're at school, while they're in our care, that is their home. They have their own cubbies. They have things that are theirs. We gave them love and comfort and stability, and we'd send them home with food or school supplies, just so that they had something that felt stable. What was so hard is when they would go home, we didn't know where they were going home to, whether they were sleeping in a car, in a shelter, and that stability outside of the classroom was just unknown to us and heartbreaking. So this facility is going to house up to 4 families, short term, so that can be anywhere from 3 months to 9 months, which is so vital for families trying to get on their feet again, as well as provide the wraparound services that are that are necessary and should be required for families to get off of their feet who do not want to be homeless, particularly families with small children, or with children. So that was an amazing groundbreaking. And you're right, we've had a lot of the community center in Canyon Country opened. We've been doing a lot here in Santa Clarita. It's been fun.
Absolutely. If you guys are just tuning in, we are here with Assemblywoman Suzette Valladares, who is quite the trooper and is joining us, even though her voice is feeling a little bit rough today. And she's been telling us about what she's been up to, advocating for her constituents over the past couple of weeks, even though the legislative session is over for the moment. Now, would you like to talk about the Problem Solvers Caucus?
I would love to talk about the Problem Solvers Caucus. I'm really excited. I think we've talked about it previously. For those of you who don't know what the Problem Solvers Caucus is, it is a new caucus in the state legislature. It is made up of 4 Republicans, 4 Democrats, and 1 no-party preference legislator from both houses of the legislature. And we get that partisanship exists in Sacramento, We hate it. I think a lot of people hate how bitter and ugly and contentious, politics get because of partisanship. And we know that our caucus realizes that partisanship gets in the way of legislation too often. So our objective is not necessarily to kill bad policy, although that would be nice, but to create good policy that makes sense for California and tackle some of California's biggest issues. So we formed about, 10 months ago now, maybe 9 months ago. And we just got through our first policy retreat, and we really digged into some of the issues that we want to focus on around our energy needs, around our climate goals, and around health care. And, I am a Republican who believes in climate change. Lots of Republicans do. We all want clean water. We want, clean air. We want our environment to be safe. And, we want to reduce CO2 emissions and pollution into the air for our future generations. And California has, been probably very much the most proactive in trying to reduce CO2 emissions. But we also have some really lofty goals that are sometimes really challenging for business. So we're looking into how can we be creative, so that we can balance our climate goals with our economic needs as well. So one of the things that we started to dig into is one of the things that we did actually at our policy retreat was we brought in the experts in the energy field, scientists, not the political people that want to talk about the politics of it, but just talk about the issue, what needs to be done. And just the 9 of us met in a room with them, and we went at it for 3 hours. What do we need to do? How can we get creative? How can we make this take a balanced approach? And some of the things that we want to focus on is carbon capture and how we can use some of our existing empty oil fields to store carbon. So we're really starting to dig into that. And, environmental policy is not my background, but it's been really exciting because it's a huge issue in California. The other thing we started to address was health care. Every individual in California has access to health care in terms of either their private insurance, Covered California, but it's not necessarily affordable. And meaning it's a big challenge for families to still pay, even through Covered California, for health care monthly. It's expensive. And sometimes you still can't even find an appointment with a doctor. So we again did the same thing. We brought together pharmaceuticals. We brought together insurance. We brought together doctors, hospitals, to talk about this as well. How do we address the affordability factor in healthcare in California? And one of the biggest things that I've been tasked with working on that I'm really excited about is growing the workforce. We have a healthcare professional shortage in the state of California, and if we are going to do if government is really good at very few things, but one of the things that we're good at is education and infrastructure. So if we can create the infrastructure and education for building and growing our workforce, our physicians assistants, our nurses, that is going to be a huge battle when it comes to the affordability crisis in healthcare. So I'm probably geeking out on you guys a little bit policy-wise. I'm sorry about that, but I'm just super excited about the Problem Solvers Caucus and the work that we're doing, and it's rolling, and I'm excited to be able to present some legislation with the Problem Solvers Caucus when we get back to Sacramento in January.
Well, I really appreciate you walking us through that, and I look forward to seeing kind of what you are able to come out with next year. All right, we are coming to the end of our time here with you, so tell me, what should our Valley be expecting to see from your office in the next couple of weeks? I know the holidays are coming up. I hope you get some time off.
Yes, the holidays are coming around, so I'm going to be making a turkey this year. So you guys will probably not see me on the Thanksgiving Eve or Thanksgiving. But we have a lot of holiday parties. We have additional ground openings going on. There are a lot of installations of new boards for clubs and organizations. Actually, I think the end of the year, November, December, is one of the funnest times of the year because it just the season getting ready for a new year, new goals. It's probably one of the most fun times to be active in the community. So you'll see me out and about quite a bit over the next couple of months.
Awesome. It's so festive.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon, Suzette. And I hope that your voice starts sounding a little bit better.
Thank you so much, Jade. Thanks for hanging in there and hearing me out. If you could understand me, I hope.
No, you sounded just fine. You were coming through loud and clear, but thank you so much.
Absolutely. Until next time.
Absolutely.
Bye now.
Bye. And thank you for listening. You'll be able to read more about Assemblywoman Valladares and what she's been up to in Sacramento and the rest of the Santa Clarita Valley over on our website at hometownstation.com or on social media at KHTS Radio.